Hello and welcome to the CNBC TV 18 Young Turks special, and we are in conversation today with Chris Tung, Chief Marketing Officer at Alibaba. Chris, thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and as we were planning this interview, and I thought of what we should start with. I mean, what's the first question that someone can ask the Chief Marketing Officer of Alibaba? You have billions of dollars at your disposal. Budget that I don't think even the biggest brands in the world have to think of what they should do. And then you are in a market that is literally the cutting edge or the frontier of retail tech in the world. So give us a sense of what your role as Chief Marketing Officer at Alibaba entails.
Yeah, I think I have a very interesting job. My job covers basically two parts. First part is really to look after all the brands in Alibaba portfolio, and
how many are those?
It's more than 30, and
yes. Okay.
And most of them have global presence. So I'm working with a comprehensive size of team, for each business units, for our brand building and marketing communication, all that. That's what I call a typical CMO job that I love to do. But what's more interesting about my job is the second mandate, which is to really support all the partners, particularly our merchants that's doing business on Alibaba platform day in, day out, to be more effective in the way they do marketing, in the way they build brands, by leveraging Alibaba's data technology and our ecosystem to better engage consumers. So people sometimes call me the CMO for CMOs. So I take responsibility of the success of how to build brands on our platform as part of my job, which is great. So I am very curious and very passionate about how all the brands are doing on Alibaba platform and how can we help them better.
Now, some of the initiatives that you've launched around working with these brands are all data technology led, right? You're sitting on data, shopping data, interest data, consumer data of one of the largest online populations in the world.
Yes.
And in that sense, can you give us a snapshot of some of your new product launches? If you can call Unimarketing an innovative product that Alibaba has launched to work with all of these brand partners to enable them to market and sell to consumers better.
And what Unimarketing does is to follow the typical path to purchase journey I mentioned, from awareness to interest to purchase to loyalty, and really build one database for each brand. We call it data bank. Okay. So this helps.
And you do this at an individual level for different brands?
Yes.
Okay.
Our brands, if you have a brand platform on Alibaba in China, you will be able to apply and open an account. Similar to like you open a personal investment bank account with the premier investment service there. So with that system, you will be able to keep tracking and all the marketing efforts you're doing on our platform, and be able to understand how consumer respond to your effort. So you're going to get lots of marketing insight, real-time insight, to understand what's working, what's not. And for people who has shown some interest to your brand, you should be able to tailor-make the advertising or the content to help them to process forward in the process. So it becomes very analytical, scientific, systematic as a marketing model for all the brands.
You were able to intelligently use the data and the intelligence on the platform to decipher that.
Yeah. One example would be we have helped Sneakers, one of the world famous snack brands, to launch a totally different flavor, which is spicy peanut sneaker.
Okay.
In China, and really, really, made it really successful with consumer. And we have offer products, like there's a strategy module that helps the marketers to look at, hey, for people who love their brand, love sneakers, what are their snacking preference outside confectionery? So they will be able to have more visibility to see more profile, more trends, more insights, and through that exercise, they're able to identify, hey, there's a high correlation between their consumers versus spicy snacking habit. So that leads the market to think, maybe we should try something spicy, which has never happened anywhere in the world for them. But then you will be able to use this system to test out concept very quickly and get positive response to confirm. Then they made a retro launch. When they decide to make a major launch, you know exactly what kind of profile people will buy, so it will make the whole communication very effective. You don't have to think again. You know exactly how to amplify the reach by targeting at the lookalike people. So that's a very interesting case for us to totally change the way we launch new product and do not miss out any possible opportunity that could, really take off. But most important, I think, by increasing the success rate, it encourages more brands to try new things. At the end of the day, it's the consumer that benefit the most. The platform will become even more exciting than ever to have more innovation, if you can imagine, for their lifestyle, to fit them. They'll feel more happy, satisfied with all the possible innovation provided by the brand they love.
Correct.
So this becomes a very healthy cycle if we leverage the power of data to link supply and demand in a more efficient way. But on your question about data, as I explained it now, it's never individual private data that we share or we look into. It's we're working with aggregated, anonymized data in our more than 600 million data consumer data. It's a huge number.
600 million or thereabouts is your monthly active user base.
Yeah. So if you're looking at numbers in that size, if you cut the analysis into one profile group with 1 million people, which is still a big number, it's just a small particle of the whole thing.
Larger.
So it's still specific enough for the brands to see targeting value. But the whole consumer data privacy is well protected, which is our top priority as a marketplace.
The difference between you and the Western counterparts is that you look at yourself as an enabler for other businesses, whereas the Amazon, Facebooks of the world have a more consumer focus, and perhaps that skews the motive behind organizing their data and slicing and splicing it out.
Now, I would say customer first. In our case, it's the merchants, it's the partner, is always the philosophy of Alibaba. We also have a sharp focus on consumer to really understand what consumer want, but the goal is really to support the brands, the partners to succeed, to engage consumers. So it's a dual focus, to be honest. As a platform, you have to look after both. But we have much more emphasis on supporting the merchants for Alibaba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next topic of conversation, which is new retail, right? What Alibaba is now doing as under new retail in China is to actually bring small offline businesses, power them with technology, with your cashless checkouts, payment systems, even in-store technology that they can use to better manage their inventory or in-store sales. Can you talk us through, from a marketing perspective, how you view that business?
In the concept of retail, new retail, we don't think about it as online, offline, or so-called O2O thing. It's how do we redefine the brand experience for the retail brand throughout the cycle of all that covers all the touch points with consumers. So therefore, we have studied a lot and experimented a lot with retail brands in terms of how to digitize the footprint and operation for the brick and mortar stores, and try to integrate online, offline as a new retail platform for the brands. So the online, offline are working in conjunction now. It could be you love to go to a brand retail store and be able to have more recommendation afterwards online, or you come across interesting content recommendation online that drive you to try out the stuff in the store, or you order something online and you don't want to wait, then the system will help you by introducing the retail store in your neighborhood that has the same inventory, so you can go pick it up. So the membership, the inventory, the operation is seamlessly integrated online, offline. So it doesn't matter where to buy.
All right, Chris, hold that thought and we'll take a break, but we'll come back and we'll talk about how some of these uni-marketing, new retail formats might be coming to India via Alibaba's investments here in companies like Paytm, Zomato, Big Basket. So keep watching. Hello and welcome back to the CNBC TV 18 Young Turks special. We are in conversation with Chris Tung, CMO at Alibaba. So let's filter down and talk about India a little bit. Your first visit here.
Yes.
What was your first impressions of the consumers here when you noticed consumer behavior in the team that was with you, of how they are using their smartphone, how they are using commerce on their phone and even offline? What are your impressions about the Indian consumer versus the Chinese consumer? Just first impressions.
Yeah, I was so amazed by what I see here through this trip, and a lot of optimism in the market, and it's and I see a lot of similarity between China and India in terms of the fast pace, progressing, and the consumer upgrading their lifestyle and eager to do more, and a lot of optimism in the market as well, and also with much more emphasis by Indian leadership on digital India.
Your other investments in India, you mentioned Paytm, you also have Expressbees, which is a logistics company, e-commerce logistics company. You have Zomato, which is, food ordering and delivery, and you have Big Basket, which is groceries, delivery online. Yeah. What are the sort of, if you've met the teams here, and you look at the way they're approaching in building out their brands and their marketing initiatives, what are some of the things that you think Indian consumers are ready for, or certain models that you have there that can be quickly imported here and integrated into some of these players perhaps to expand faster, onboard users faster, make it increasingly attractive for Indians to transact online?
Yeah. I think consumers are experience great benefits of living a convenient life through digital technology, which is essential. The mobile phone, the development of mobile market plays probably one of the most critical driving force for China's digital development. I think this will be the same in India. I'm very happy to see how quickly people are churning from feature phone to mobile phone, because you got to have the magic wand in your hand to be able to enjoy the benefit of this different life. And the power of mobile phone, smartphone, is it's at your service anytime, anywhere, and it can be personalized to your benefit. So I think it's always the convenience as well as the personalization that's adding value to this equation, and payment being one. We're not using. I don't think we're using a lot of cash or even credit card. A lot of people never use credit card. The young generation in China, because as long as you have your phone full of battery and you have some money in your bank, you're okay. So that's easy to describe, but takes a lot of effort to do. But once you have that e-payment infrastructure, everything, all the business becomes very convenient. And once you enjoy that convenient life, you're gonna do more with your mobile phone, and you're gonna enjoy the benefit of shopping online. You're gonna enjoy a lot of content or personalized news. A lot of things will come. This will be a totally different mobile-led lifestyle that you're gonna have very soon in India. But I think each infrastructure bucket plays a very essential role, and payment being one very critical part of it.
Are you looking at bringing some form of uni-marketing, or are brands here, business partners here, brands here in India that do cross-border via Alibaba, tapping into uni-marketing in any form, or are you working closely with some of your investee companies here to look at how they could implement some form of the new retail model here? Are your teams talking to each other?
Yeah, of course. This is definitely in a plan. I think it goes without saying that India is a key priority of our globalization strategy. But we also have to look at the status of the market, the development, like I just described, the penetration of the payment.
Yes.
A lot of things you cannot rush. You have to look at the prerequisite condition to see if everything is in place, then be able to bring some of the experience and technology to support the merchants of India more. But we're going to take steps. It's not just bring everything we have in China and make it happen here. It doesn't make sense. But we pretty much have gone through the process. We know what to do, what to support step by step. So we're focusing on getting the infrastructure support right. For example, on top of payment, we have launched Alibaba Cloud services with two major data center built. So that's very critical, because cloud really carry that data technology capability, as well as be able to offer a space for us to put more business application on to support the merchants in India. So that is critical part of the whole plan as well.
All right. Winding down this conversation, Chris, I want to go back to talking about two of the larger trends and where you see this as a CMO at Alibaba, right? One is short form content and how that is being used by marketers in China, and what are the trends that you see towards that? How do brands communicate their messages in 15 seconds, 10 seconds effectively, and what is the growth that you see there for media, entertainment, content companies?
It's definitely the mega trend that's going on everywhere in the world. This has driven by the mobile application. So through this little tiny screen, we want to quickly get to what we want in a short form, entertainment alike. So that has significantly changed the way we think about how to produce content as well as entertainment. I believe this will prevail whenever the mobile phone prevails. And as a platform, what we have achieved, what we have tried in China, for example, is how do we develop an effective content-based e-commerce platform. So if you benchmark with the traditional TV commercial, yes, 15 seconds, 30 seconds on a little screen is not probably as persuasive as it is on big screen like TV. But think about it as recommendation, as key opinion leaders presentation about their experience with the product, with the brand. It could be very personal. It could be very approachable and very convincing.
I believe you have thousands of live broadcasts that happen on the various apps on a daily basis by key opinion leaders or influencers that I think we call in India, pushing people to buy, experiment with products.
Yes, Alibaba has been the main incubator for KOL-led e-commerce in China with our major platform called Taobao. So on Taobao, which is already a content-led platform, it's already you can take it as the largest consumption media, if you will. It's not just a shopping mall online. It's actually a consumption magazine, if you will, in a digital way. So every day there's thousands of live casts by KOL there, and almost all the product page carries a short form video introduction, which is done in a very lively way. So lots of content you can follow, and lots of recommendations.
AI-generated content?
AI also play a role in terms of how to produce it right, how to present this particular product to the consumers. There's a lot of insight driven by the AI, as well as the matching. What users get exposed to certain KOL or content is optimized by AI algorithm. So it's a personalized content channel. Every time you go to Taobao, you feel like this is your Taobao. If you compare your Taobao page with your friends, they may look totally different. Totally different. So you feel like this is for me. This is so personal. You don't even want to share a snapshot of your Taobao on social media because it's so personal. It's actually your lifestyle. You have to go check it out, what's new, what's for you every day. So it becomes a part of your life. It goes much more beyond commerce. So that's huge. To be simple, I think the whole media landscape is changing. The short form video as well as live casting is playing a very important role there. Okay,
my last question is what you see as the future of the ad agency. You've been on the other side. You worked with the Procter & Gamble's of the world, the PepsiCo's, the L'Oreal's, and now you're on the other side as CMO at Alibaba, and you're seeing the world differently. Tell us about what you think is the future of the ad agency.
I always made my pitch to the agency world that by saying that I think this is the best time for agency. Why? Because by unleashing the power of data, this is the first time that, for example, creative agency doesn't have to only focus on one set of target audience and do just one set of creative for one campaign. Instead, because there's so much insight we can get from different groups of people, everybody, almost everybody, should have a good reason to buy certain product. We just have to understand what story to tell. So if you know what story to tell, the whole space for creativity becomes multiplied. So actually, it's the best time for creative people to actually devise more creative work, tell more stories to different group of people at the same time. And the system, for example, the uni-marketing system will help you to push out the right story to the right people. And you can measure the effectiveness of your creative work in real time. It was never the case. It's basically always you devise a campaign, then you feel the job is done and see how it goes. But now because of visibility of the insight, you get to play a lot more, do a lot more work, and make your advertising campaign even more effective. And of course, the media agency will even, be more data-led, scientific in the way they approach media. So it benefits both media agency and creative agency. But the challenge is, what I'm saying here is really understood and being adopted as a new way of thinking for agency. That's the challenge. If they stay indifferent, I think they're going to get impacted. But the world is still there for them, even bigger one.
A bigger one outside China, where they can continue to be old school.
Yes.
at least for a long, long time.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris, for this conversation.
My pleasure.
Thank you. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Young Turks. Tell us what you thought of the show. You can write to us at youngturks@nw18.com. You can also ping us on Facebook and Twitter. Our handle is @CNBC Young Turks. From the entire team here, thank you very much for watching.